Welcome to Dysfunctional Adults, the comedy podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. Yeah. We are bitter, cynical Gen Xers saddled with crippling debt and depressingly past our primes. But that's what makes this podcast so much fun. Well,
hey, welcome.
Hey.
Did you guys all hear that? My Windows notifications?
Yeah, that's great. I hope it's part of our podcast now.
I need to turn them off. Hold on. Someone take over and start the hosting gig.
Well, hey, I guess I can be your host. I am John. These are my co-hosts, Zach.
Hi.
And Jason.
Hey, how's it going? I just closed my Outlook, so we shouldn't get any more of those. I don't know if the audience could hear them or not, but it was. We're trying out some new, well, not new tech, but we've learned how to use our tech. So,
Yeah, basically.
It's running through the computer now, and then we have awesome things like sound effects.
So, like when Jason tells a joke, just hit the cricket sound and.
No, when I tell a joke, it's going to be this.
See, I purposefully got rid of the laughter button because I didn't want him to have that for his jokes. No.
The standing ovation, yes.
So our audience can look forward to much, much abuse of those buttons.
Yeah. Well, we have a very special guest on this very special episode.
Yes, special guest Luke Bjorgi is back with us to tell us more stories from the great up north. I guess
Great White North.
I didn't want to say
Isn't that
white
Canada?
because I don't know.
But Minnesota's the Canada of the United States,
Right.
Because Alaska doesn't count.
What were you guys at? 11 degrees yesterday?
Yeah, it was. Well, yesterday, it was kind of cold yesterday. A couple days ago when I was out hunting, it was, I think, 13 when I got there. It was a little brisk. We got like a foot of snow.
What were you hunting?
Deer. So,
Nice.
Man.
Yeah, have you ever hunted a man before?
Yeah, if it was a season, I probably would.
Yeah.
When is hunting season for transients?
I don't know. I wonder if you'd have to buy a tag for that.
How many movies have been made on that premise?
If you'd be like the hog population in Texas, you'll just take as many as you needed. I don't know.
You bagged your limit.
Like sunfish, you just keep as many as you want.
It's like the fish and game officers. They come and like count the bindles you have with you to make sure you didn't go over your limit.
Hey, not a hobo.
He just hangs out near the train yard and snipes them as they come through.
Yeah.
Tell you what, a lot of people ended up moving into houses quick. I bet.
You just made a good point. Luke just solved the homeless problem.
It's awful. How many movies have been made on that premise, though?
The Hunting of Man.
The Hunting of Men,
Oh, yeah.
We can see
Surviving the Game with Ice-T.
Yeah.
There's that Van Damme one, The Hard Target.
And then there was the one with Rutger Hauer. I can't remember.
That's Surviving
the Game.
Is that?
There's one called The Most Dangerous Game, I
That's
think.
a
Was
story,
a different
too.
one.
That was the original short story.
Yeah.
I bet they made it in multiple forms and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember who wrote it.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I know it was an assignment in school. I had to read the short story.
Yeah.
So. Good old pop culture can't come up with anything new. Has to just keep redoing the same thing over and over again. So.
Well, and, think about it, though. Everything's been done. I mean, there isn't a lot that hasn't been done. I'm always amazed when there's a fresh story out there. And my brain picks everything apart because of the ADHD. It's very hyper focused on all of the details of movies. So when something really good comes out, it feels rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember from like film class, there's only something like 7 to 10 different basic plot lines, like coming of age or good versus evil. And most of them are some variation of those or a combination of those. So
on aged people. What?
That's a new genre.
That is, it is not new. I have
Really?
a collection I can show you.
Oh dear.
I probably cut that.
That's funny. Well, great. John, you volunteered to host, so
Oh, did I? By default, because you weren't ready?
because I wasn't ready.
Okay, so what's going on with you guys? What have you guys been up to?
We've been getting ready for carpet installation, which means like we're moving things around for the 50th time in this house. Just trying to get ready, cleaning up on Tuesdays when we get our carpet. So next time you guys come over, it'll be carpeted and maybe probably a little more soundproof in here. So
Nice.
but yeah. So
Isn't laying carpet like a euphemism or something? Or
no, I think
think
you're
it's something
thinking
else.
of carpet muncher.
Well, yeah, I remember that one.
Which is awful. but
Laying wood, I think. Is that what it is?
What's that?
Laying wood, maybe?
Laying wood.
Laying pipe, I know, is one of them.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Let me just write these down real quick.
All right, so laying carpet, that's your
I'm not
week.
doing it. We're
Well, no, you're having the real man do it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, probably. So, but yeah, that's what's going on in my world, and I hate you.
Well, good. What about you, Zach?
I have been editing this podcast,
All right.
because we got behind there for a minute, and so I finally got all that finished, and I should be doing some audiobook stuff starting, tomorrow. What's happening? I saw your finger going toward the button. And I'm just pissed. No, I'm just mad.
Do you have it memorized, or are you just gonna be hitting
He's
random
just hitting
buttons
random buttons
until you get the one? Oh, okay.
Oh, never mind. No, he's got a
it written down.
template that tells him what button does what. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, fantastic.
That puts a lot of pressure on us telling stories. Because you just never know when he's going to hit one of those.
Oh, I'm not going to interrupt you, Luke. This is just I'm trolling John and Zach, so you don't need to worry.
Oh, no, I don't mind. It'll keep me on my toes.
Oh, good.
Consider it a compliment to be trolled.
So the audio from Luke's a little bit delayed. It sounds like, but that's only because he's broadcasting from a tent, like in the middle of like a forest beyond civilization. So
Hunting men.
yeah, so he's hunting people, men, because you can't kill does, right?
What caliber gun do you go with, or rifle do you go with when you hunt men? What's your go-to?
Actually, well, I would. I don't know. I'd probably still use my bow, but
Ooh, that's manly. Like, I think my nipples just got hard.
He's like Legolas out there.
it's just
Shooting 2 arrows at once.
those. It's just probably shouldn't say all this, but the damage that arrows cause are so nasty that I just, I think if I was gonna have to shoot somebody with something and putting a 2-inch hole through them would do a lot more damage than shooting them with a little gun.
This just got really dark.
That's why it's kind of a weird way to go with this, but yeah, I guess my caliber would probably be an arrow. Unless I was into the chase, and then maybe I want to wing them to something else.
Have you thought about this?
He's giving it some thought.
But you gotta be thinking now.
Well,
Yeah.
when the inevitable purge comes, you'll be ready. So, awesome.
Yeah,
I've just been watching a lot of Norseman on Netflix. Luke was kind enough to get me a gift card for Netflix because I didn't feel like affording it anymore. I mean, I say it like that, but I just honestly couldn't afford Netflix anymore. It's like $18 a month for
well, it was like $9 a month a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They up at like a couple bucks every year, and now it's double what it used to be.
Don't tell Netflix or HBO Max or all the other streaming services I own, but you're welcome to all of mine.
So Netflix is the only service that I've found that they watch that shit.
Do they?
Like, yeah, if I log into your Netflix at my house a few times, they're gonna send you something saying, "Hey, whoa, somebody's using your Netflix."
Weird.
Yeah, so you just have to say that you're my boyfriend and you sleep over sometimes.
Well, it's the truth, right?
Is it?
Well,
Is it gonna be
we
now?
haven't had that talk yet, but
This is a very special episode.
Jason comes out live on air.
No, Jason goes.
Everybody knew I was out. So yeah, that's all I've been doing is just watching Norseman on Netflix. That show is hilarious. It's like it takes British comedy and like the idea of almost to The Office, but without them really talking to the camera.
I've seen a little bit of it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and their accents are amazing. Their Norwegian accents. It's a good show about Vikings that
got canceled.
Oh, it got canceled
just recently.
What the dude?
I'm just taking everything away.
Thank you for ruining. Yeah, why don't you do the wah 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 wah? There you go. I hope you feel good about yourself.
No, I feel bad actually.
So that's all I've been doing.
All right.
I've been watching. We started watching Squid Game on the topic of hunting human beings.
Oh yeah.
I've only seen a couple episodes, but I don't know if I like it yet. I'm still like intrigued, but the translation's awful. Like, yeah. I wish I was watching it subtitled. I think it probably would have been a better experience. But
oh, you watched the dubbed?
That's the only one I didn't know you could watch a subtitle.
Yeah, you can. They fixed a lot of. There was a time there where I was watching some foreign titled Netflix stuff or foreign titles, and dubbing was the only option for some reason. But a lot of them they fixed where now you can just do subtitles while listening to their real language.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So,
what about you?
Still pretty weird on it though, even with the subtitles. Like you could just tell that that's not how people talk to each other. Like that's just a poor translation of what they probably meant to say.
Yeah.
I think it's called 3%. I don't know. It's like I think a French show, but that one was only available in the dubbed thing, and it's a good show, but I just can't watch it because it's weird. Like it's just weird watching their mouths and then having just some guy reading off of a script.
It's like an old Godzilla movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's so disorienting that it's. I don't know. Like I made it through I think the first season and a half. I'm like I just can't do this. Like I couldn't even get used to it. But now maybe they have the subtitle version where it'll that might probably be a little more palatable. There was actually an article, you brought up the Squid Game. There was an article on one of my news feeds I read at work about how bad the translation was for that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that apparently it's really bad.
Yeah. Have you watched it yet? Oh yeah, you watched it because you told me to watch it.
It was I enjoyed it. I ended up with one of those ones that was good enough. I think I binge watched it in 2 nights. But
yeah, it seems like it's high quality as far as like production value, but translation's just kind of funny. So, even though I don't speak Korean, but I'm just sad that they haven't eaten any dog yet, because that's what I heard from somebody in this room, that they eat dogs over there.
Kegogi.
From an article from 30-something years ago.
Yeah. Kegogi.
Kegogi. Anyway, what have you been watching, John? More Mandalorian?
No, I haven't started the second season yet.
Get out.
We did see the Eternals over the weekend.
Oh, how was it?
I liked it. It's not one of the best Marvel movies, but it's not nearly as bad as some people were saying.
Why is it getting such negative press? Can you?
I don't really know. One of the things I heard that I can kind of see is they introduce too many new characters at once. It's kind of hard to care about all of them because there's like 10 new characters. That is a lot to introduce at once, but really it's not any more than like the Avengers or Captain America Civil War had.
Yeah, but each of them had their own movies.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see that to a point, but I didn't really have trouble following all the characters, and I thought it was interesting. It was a fun check your brain at the door, enjoy the action type movie. I liked it.
Cool.
I'm excited to check it out. I was
No
a fan of
real
the Avengers
complaints.
films, so
I mean, it's long. It's like it's 2.5 hours long. If you got a problem with that, but if you don't, then
just take a lot of ADHD medication.
I.e., meth
It is meth. Yeah, legal meth.
and cocaine.
yeah.
That's not
Oh, sorry. It's not even cocaine. I've just been selling you flour.
Oh, well, it's been doing the trick.
The mind is a powerful thing.
What have you been watching, Luke?
What have I haven't watched it quite as much TV probably in the last month or two as normal. Just hunting and
Not as much
everything else.
TV as
Well, it's
Pardon?
hunting season.
Yeah, so I'm actually tired when I get home. I don't get tired at work because all I do is sit all damn day. So it's pretty easy to come home and just sit and watch TV till 2 in the morning. But I'm trying to think what I watched anything good. I watched that Dune actually.
Oh yeah, I was meaning to see that. How is that?
It's obviously graphic wise or special effect wise is quite a bit better. But it didn't feel to me. It didn't feel a whole hell of a lot different than the
Thank
first
you.
one.
Yes.
So I don't know why the hype, like where the hype was on it, but to be honest, I was a little disappointed because I was expecting it to be they made such a big deal about it. I was expecting, I guess, a little bit more out of it, but it was good. It just was like it wasn't too hard to like. I never paused it. Like, so it's like I'm gonna go like get a snack, and I would just go get a snack because it wasn't interesting enough to pause the damn thing. It's like I'm just gonna go like make a sandwich and come back like, I didn't miss anything. Just fat Momoa. But it was, whatever. I mean, it was good. It just wasn't. I guess I was expecting it to be a little more exciting, if that's the right word. I don't know.
well, it
But it
ends.
just felt like I watched the first movie again. I don't know.
It's the first of two, though, right? Does this one even
Oh,
wrap
is it?
up at all?
Yeah. So actually, yeah, you were right. It is 2 parts, but
Okay.
it's
Well, maybe
it's
the second
same
half
story.
is better.
Yeah, it's the same story as the original movie, but they just did half of it. So I guess the resolution isn't there, which is kind of weird.
Well, how did they manage to make what was already an extremely long movie? Now they're going to make 2 extremely long movies because that first one is extremely long.
Yeah, it is. It's like 3 hours
and
long.
slow.
And then the
That's how they do it nowadays.
inner monologues were awesome in the original. Remember that?
I almost would have preferred that. That's
The
what I'm saying.
whispering,
Like, I didn't see. I haven't even finished it, and there wasn't a whole hell of a lot of difference between that and the original. Like Luke said, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't seen it yet either, but
It threw me off because I read a lot about it. I don't do anything at work, so I play on the computer, and the stuff I saw on there made it sound like it was going to be a completely different take, and just so much better, and just going to blow the original out of the water, and then it was just the same damn movie,
Right?
with better special.
Yeah, just
and
with
screen.
They should.
Yeah, it was good though. I mean, I liked the first movie, so I guess if you hated the first movie, you're probably not going to like this one either. But I enjoyed the first one, so I did enjoy the movie. I was just about an hour in, I'm like, well, this is kind of a repeat.
My wife. Go ahead.
No, I was done. I was just gonna say I wasn't gonna say like the ADD thing, but I was getting distracted pretty easily. Like I'm gonna go look out the window and see if there's anything in my yard, kind of thing. So I was kind of I still watched the majority of it.
My wife wanted to see it, and I want to see it still, but I'm like, honey, you're not gonna like it, and I know this. I have on good authority, you're not gonna like this movie because she doesn't like Lord of the Rings or super high concept sci-fi, I guess. And so all I had to do was play the original trailer for her, and from the original movie back in the day. And then I said, it's the exact same thing with better special effects. And so finally she's like, yeah, I don't want to watch it. So, I mean, I still haven't seen it. I want to, but I'm going to wait till the second part comes out. So,
Well, I wonder if it would have been better like, because of course I just watched it on my TV. So I wonder if it would have hit a little better if I'd been on a big screen in the movie theater kind of thing, instead of my lousy, surround sound bar thingy I have with a 48-inch TV or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it would have been a little more exciting, but maybe not. I don't know. I'll still watch the second one. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I watch. So yeah, I don't know. Like, other than that, I don't know if I really. I've a bunch of the stuff that's on my Netflix and HBO Max. I've been like kind of keeping up with Titans and Doom Patrol, and then a bunch of the stuff that I've watched over the last couple of years had a bunch of new seasons come out. So I've kind of been chipping away at those. I started watching Vice Principals.
Oh, I heard that's funny as hell.
It is, and so I made it quite a ways into that. That's I don't know if I'll keep watching it because I don't know if it's. I have a feeling it's going to end up getting kind of stale.
Oh.
But the first season is hilarious. The guy looks a lot like, your favorite guy from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Ron Swanson.
Yep, he looks a lot like him, and I don't think it's the same guy, but and acts a lot like him. So it's kind of like him being an extremely, like, violently rude vice principal. Which I don't know. It's I laughed a lot, and I watched probably the first season and a half, and same thing, like a couple, 2-3 nights. But then I got distracted with a few other things, and I haven't gone back to it. So it's
Like your yard.
Yeah, like looking out my yard because there might be a pigeon out there. Damn, Floyd.
It's like there's a squirrel out there. That's funny.
Or
Should we take a break?
Let's take a break real quick, and we'll come right back. Is there a button for breaks?
There's not. So we'll just. I hate this so much.
And we'll be right back.
I like the sound effects.
Hey, welcome back.
Hi. I've been sitting by you the whole time. You don't,
yeah, you don't have to keep welcoming us.
Back.
Oh, okay. Well, we came back from break, so all the new listeners who tune in after break.
Nude listeners? I heard nude.
Hey, you hear what you want to hear, but I'm not opposed to that.
We have an exclusivity deal with all like the nude resorts. Like this is actually on air playing.
Yeah, over the speakers. Yeah,
that's funny.
Should we do listener mail first?
Do we have some listener mail?
Yeah, I think I
didn't see any in my inbox, so I'll.
I found some.
Okay, well, I'm not going to play any sound effects, but yeah, we should have a sound effect for listener mail.
Well, we don't. So why don't you just...
Jason says to the overworked producer, Zach.
Hey, I've got all these ideas of things that you can only do.
Also go wash my car.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like this is one from a Ricardo Cabeza.
I like that one. You speak Spanish. That's pretty funny.
It says, Dear dysfunctional adults, normally I'm not one to complain about such things, but it is getting in the way of my enjoyment of your show. You've mentioned a few times that Jason is half Mexican, up until the point where you mentioned that everything was just fine. Now, though, for the life of me, I can't understand a single word the guy says. His Mexican Scottish accent is so thick that it's like listening to an entire other language. Please do something about this so I can keep listening to your awesome program. Thanks, Ricardo Cabeza. Well, this guy's a dickhead.
Yeah.
So,
he lives up to his name.
So you just take that, my Mexican Scottish accent. Wow, that's awful.
That was really bad.
That was really, really bad.
Like Sean Connery meets Cheech Marin or something.
While he's constipated in the bathroom. Yeah, I'll never do that again. I'm sorry.
Do you want to read this one, or do you want to read one of yours first?
I can read that one, I guess.
Sure. Okay.
Let you read one that I got. Dysfunctional adults. Episode 8 was the worst episode ever. Talk about entitlement. John had no business taking that pickle out of the jar without the assistance of the employee and deserves everything he got. I hope his rectum shuts down and he has to start pooping out of his mouth. Poo poo pee pee wang boner zing Adelia. Wow.
That was harsh.
That was.
Wow. Okay. It's like we're always talking about like that being the episode to start with.
I think we need to reevaluate. Apparently it's offended somebody.
Poo poo pee pee wang boner zing.
Is Adelia like 7 years old? That's what I wonder.
What's with all the harsh criticism?
I don't know.
Well, this one's not critical, so maybe Zach can. Maybe this one will cheer us up a little bit.
Want me to read it?
Zach,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Dear dysfunctional adults, I've tried all the most popular dating sites, Tinder, Zoosk, eHarmony, and haven't found much success on any of them. So I thought I'd put my love life in your hands and see if you can promote my profile on air. You guys are my one-way ticket to Pound Town. With your extensive female fan base, I'll be screening for calls for weeks. I need to learn to read. Anyway, here goes. Ladies, are you tired of dating the same old douchebags? Smart, handsome, confident, funny, overly muscled success stories with great careers that make you feel inadequate? Well, good news. I'm none of those things. I'm 98 pounds of pasty, asthmatic codependence with hair trigger temper and a face that makes Steve Buscemi look like Zac Efron. With me on your arm, you'll always be the good-looking one at any social gatherings we attend. Plus, you'll never have to worry about me boring your friends and your family with dull, pretentious work stories, seeing as I haven't held a steady job since the Reagan administration. And hey, I may not be a doctor like your ex-boyfriends, but I did punch one in the throat during a physical for touching my junk. I like to think of myself as a modern-day Robin Hood, whereas he robbed from... Excuse me. I like to think of myself as a modern-day Robin Hood, whereas he robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. I robbed from the poor and used the money to buy skin flicks. Potato, potato. I'm single, ladies. Call me Kenny. Well, Kenny.
I mean, if that doesn't get him some dates, I don't know what will.
And if that's what it takes to get dates, I'm in. I will subject myself to the same. I mean, I've got some similarities to him.
You want to date Kenny or
I could do that
take
too.
a page out of his book.
I don't care at this point. Oh, Kenny.
You'll find the one, Kenny. You just keep looking.
Yeah, eventually someone will settle. So that's awesome. Any other listener mail or?
I think that's all I got for the week.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for sending in those, tear-jerking, harsh criticisms that trigger post-traumatic stress disorder from abusive childhoods.
I could have just read those and filed them away and not given them to you guys, but I just feel like the critique is needed. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I can't stop being half Mexican.
What? I can't understand you. What? that accent, man.
I'll try harder to speak the English. All right.
All right. Should we move on to the next segment then?
Is that story time?
I think it is.
All right.
So if without further ado, yeah. Welcome to Uncle Luke's Story Corner. Hell yeah. Ladies.
This feels like a dirty version of Super Mario Brothers.
What's that?
That it feels like a dirty version of Super Mario Brothers.
It can be if you want it to be.
I didn't think it was that sexy. I thought it was just kind of funky. Not creepy at all. Well, yeah. Creepy. I should have named it Creepy Uncle Luke's Story Time.
Be slightly more accurate. Boy, I don't even know where to start. What's the weirdest thing you've been bitten by?
What's that?
What's the weirdest thing you've ever been bitten by?
The weirdest thing I've ever been bitten by? Oh, a firefly.
Firefly
Really?
bite?
Yeah, I didn't think they did either, and everybody that I tell, they're like, no, they don't bite. But I caught one, and suddenly there was a major pain in my hand where I caught it. So I don't know, it bit or it stung.
Weird.
Huh. I had no idea. Huh. Okay.
What about you?
Me or?
Yeah. Or
Do
you want these guys to?
Well, yeah, let's go around the room. Does it work? I can go. I don't care.
Her name was Alicia. That's what the weirdest thing I've gotten hit by.
For me, it was just homeless man in the park.
We started
But
that.
it's been hunting season.
I don't think I've been bitten by a lot of weird things. I know I've been bitten by a dog, a snake, a turtle. I've had fish like chewing on my toes, like when you're wade out in the water on the beach. You feel little minnows like nibbling your toes.
So you stomp on them.
Stomp them to death.
I was once bitten by my grandfather after he took his teeth out. That was funny.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been bitten by anything more exotic than like a spider, I guess. I don't know.
John, bite Jason.
I said exotic.
I think he's exotic.
I got bit on the ass by a dog at work once. I don't know if I told that story here.
No, I've never heard this
No?
story.
It's from years back when I still worked at the warehouse. A driver had just come by to pick up a delivery, so I loaded him up, and then I walked outside to the cab of his truck to get him to sign the paperwork, and his dog jumped out of the cab and bit me on the ass. And he came out and apologized and all that, and it didn't, rip my pants or break the skin or anything, so I didn't file a complaint. But
Damn,
that
man.
was probably the weirdest time I've been bit.
Hold it. There you go.
I had higher hopes. That was a good one.
I'm sorry I disappointed you.
No. We just never know. Like, people have weird pets nowadays, so.
Yeah. I just pretend to be weird.
Yeah, I haven't been bit by anything all that weird either. I've bit by, everything you guys are talking about, lizards and all that garbage from out west. Got bit by a squirrel a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently I wasn't feeding it fast enough, and it right next to me, like on the inner knee area. I was just sitting in the grass, like feeding it out of this, like next to nothing. And I don't know, it got all pissed and ran up and just chomped on my leg. I was I think I was like 5 or something. I was just like, it hurt really bad. And the big blood blister thing was really irate that I must not have been throwing him fast enough. I don't know.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. And then I got bit by an ostrich once.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, I was at the zoo, and at the Como Zoo, there's a free zoo in Nepal. And this was back, now they have fences, so I can't do that. But, the fence, they really didn't have, tall fences then, and it was molting. So, the thing was nasty. It was just feathers are all messed up and falling out. And I was, probably 9, and I pointed at it to show, I got to show my mom, look how ugly that bird is. And the son of a bitch bit me, right on the hand between the finger I was pointing at it.
Oh,
I was bleeding, and my mom's like, "Well, no one else to be pointing it at," and we just kept going. There was no sympathy at all. So
it's like, call me ugly again, bitch.
No one likes to be pointed at, and it's a lesson I'll never forget.
Yep.
But other than that, yeah, just normal stuff. You never know. Could got bit by something pretty crazy. You never know.
I'm surprised you never got bit by a bear, considering the fact that, remember how we were talking about how manly he is on the other podcast episode, which I don't think has come out yet, but we were talking about how manly you were, and you've pet a bear.
Yeah, Grandpa.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Grandpa was a bear?
Yeah, well.
Manliness.
Yeah, no, he worked, after he retired, he worked at a dump, and it was back before it was an open pit dump, so now they have bins for everything or whatever, but back then it was just a big ass hole, and we just threw all your shit in there and they covered it in dirt. And he went through it all because he was a hoarder. So he'd come home with all the stuff he threw away, one shoe or whatever. Like I might find something. And but yeah, so he had bears everywhere out there, and I went out there and feral cats all over the place. But I went out there one day with him, and so there's all these bears running around, like a bunch of cubs and mama bears and feral cats, and he was rolling certs along the ground for the cubs and stuff, and the big mom came over, and I was standing on an old ass couch that was sitting there, and it, so I was leaning against, like I was on the cushions leaning against the back, and it came right up. He's like, "Well, pet it." So I was sitting right there, and I was petting it behind the ears, and he was feeding it. And it turned around and walked away, and I took a picture of it, but it was one of those really old 35 millimeter cameras, so it looks like it's about 150 yards away from me, but it was only like 10 feet away when I took the picture. And we got home, and my grandma lost her shit on it. When I told her I was petting a bear out of the dump. God damn it, Leon. But, yeah,
Grandpa's gonna take me to the dump to go pet some bears.
And how old were you when that happened? You were 8?
Oh man, I don't know, man. 8 or 9, maybe. No, I was pretty young.
8 or 9.
10. I think it was like 8 or 9. I was pretty like young enough that I thought it was awesome. I think if I'd been like 11 or 12, it would have been like, man, fuck that. But yeah, yeah, I thought it was great. But
after he did that bear, he grew a beard immediately.
Is that what we have to look forward to? Like spending our days at the dump, like in 20 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens.
You retire.
That's when my grandfather died early, because that was his life. He was like, "Well, fuck this," and I had a heart attack.
Oh well, got to stay busy, I guess.
Well, I forgot about this story too. So we had piles of stuff at my grandma's house because he brought everything home, and whatever. Grandpa dies, and like they would just go through everything in the dump, and so he would go through everything and like take it all home if it looked good, and he had this whatever. It was a box full of pictures and everything. So there's all this shit in there, and it was from this. The last name was Dawson. And so my dad and Ann, his sister, and Ben might even been part of it. Grandma was for sure. And they like filled all this stuff out and sent like this big envelope to the oldest brother, Cecil. And it was all about him being adopted and that he was actually a Dawson. And here was all the family pictures of like his family, and like we figured he was old enough to finally tell you kind of thing, and they sent it off to him for an April Fool's joke.
Shit.
Yeah, so for years he would send us letters, and it would say, I can't remember what his middle name is, like just with an R, it'd be like C.R. Dawson or whatever. Like that's what he put for the return. He put Dawson to return.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's pretty epic.
Roy, that's his middle name.
Roy, yeah, so it was C.R. Dawson.
Yep. Oh, that's funny.
I forgot about that one too. Yeah, we're a funny family.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start though. Like little story, or not in depth.
In the middle of the story, yeah, just do that.
In depth or a big one? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you want, man. I'll be editing it regardless.
It's your corner.
We were talking about hunting things earlier, so I'll just start at the bottom.
All right.
Well, a friend of mine, Mike, and I were out. We were driving around partridge hunting, and so we're out in the back roads driving around, having a couple beers, and just road hunting for birds. We came around this corner, and there's this guy standing in the middle of the road with this dead deer laying there, and he just eyeballed us. Like we had to go out in the ditch to go around him because it was this little dirt road. He just kind of like creepy stared at us the whole way around, and it looked like a great deer. And we just kind of drove by it, and of course, we kept hunting or whatever, talking about it. Like, man, I wonder if he's gonna if he hit that, or I wonder what happened with it. Well, when we came back, it was still laying there. So we jumped out and took a look at it, and it looked like a pretty it didn't look like there was anything messed up on it. So we should take this thing, So we put it in the back of my truck and took it home, thinking that it was a fresh deer, and strung it up in the garage quick. And then I think I'd run get the kids, bring them down to hockey practice or something. And I came back and opened the door to go in the garage because he was coming over to, we were going to skin it out. And as soon as I opened the door, it was like, uh-oh, like, we made a mistake. And I called, I was like, we made a mistake, like, 3 years ago, like, you know, like, we made a mistake. Like, this, we're going to have to throw this thing out. And he came over and was like, no, I think it'll be fine. And once he started cleaning it, it was a disaster. But, like, it was, so don't pick up random roadkill.
And that is the moral of the story.
It looked healthy as shit, but it was not. It was.
It's all like rotten on the inside, or.
Well, and then I had to dispose of the dang thing, so like we threw it in the back of the truck, you know, with all the plastic. I was catching all the bits, and so I ran out. Oh no, whatever out in the country. I really felt like I was throwing out like a dead body because like pulling this wrapped up body in a chunk of plastic and like throwing it quick before anyone sees me because it wasn't hunting season. So like I wasn't supposed to have a dead deer in the back of my truck. I'm like, yeah, whoops.
Whoops.
Do you like wrap in the carpet and throw it off a bridge or something?
That's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah. You toss a gun into the water afterward, even though you didn't kill it.
Yeah, it was weird. So yeah, that was my worst animal story, I guess.
Don't eat roadkill, boys and girls.
Here's a funnier one. So I'm not sure like what your guys' strip club experience is. I don't really like strip clubs. I don't know if I even have them out there, but
Strip clubs?
Strip club.
Yeah, we do.
Well, you do?
Oh, we do.
Yeah. Like the whole membership at a bar thing. But I didn't know if you guys had those things on. But like, I really don't care for them at all. I'm pretty proud of the fact that I don't think I've ever spent $1 of my own money in one. But anyway, I had one when I moved to town called Tuna's, which you can expect it was pretty high class. And so guys that I worked with at the time when I worked construction, if we worked up here, they always wanted to go down there. And my wife was kind of, she came down to have fun, whatever. I went up to the bar to get a beer and was talking to one of the dancers and another guy that was sitting up there, whatever. She came running up to me. She was like, I did it. I'm like, what? She's like, didn't you see? I'm like, no, I was talking, with her or whatever. She's like, well, I did the thing, like what thing? She's like where you lean over the bar, like that goes around the dance floor, and they like you put $1 on your face and they pick it off. I'm like, oh. I was like, we'll do it again. So I walked over there, and all my friends that I worked with are sitting there, and she grabbed, they gave her $1 or whatever, and she leaned over the rail, did that thing on her face. The lady, crouched over or whatever, and I. She's just ready to get that $1, and I reached up and I poked my wife right in the snapper right there, and right in the paint. So you do that. Like the first reaction is you're gonna probably do a sit up, and that's exactly what my wife did. And that, so she went face first straight into the crotch of that stripper. And I tell you what, that stripper could jump pretty high for wearing high heels. I mean,
nice.
That was hilarious. And then I just blamed it on the guy that was sitting next to her. And yeah, so she blamed my friend Travis for years. She didn't know it was me that did it.
You finally came clean and said, "Yeah, that was me."
Yeah, well, yeah, we were talking about it. I think he was over one time, and she found out it was me. And she's like, "Oh," but yeah, that was.
That's fantastic. I've never thought about like poking someone's taint to get them to do a sit up, but now
it was the perfect timing to do that because there was only about a half inch of room to do a sit up in, and she did about a foot and a half.
Fantastic! You'd get kicked out at the strip clubs here for that.
Everyone there just thought it was hilarious. Even the lady, gave her a 10 or whatever, and she was happy. But I mean, yeah, that place was that was kind of a crazy little strip club actually. Like they had to pay for their own music. So there was a jukebox right next to the dance floor. So they would they come out and shake their shit a little bit and be like, "This one's for song." And then whatever money they got, they would go put in the jukebox so they can pick one dance.
Oh man,
It was so sad.
Oh, that is sad.
that's ghetto. I love it.
It was. It was then when it was going out of business, it had a hole in the roof. And I used to play a lot of pool, and so one of the pool teams played out of there, and we were up there. It was probably January or something, and there was snow coming through the roof, and he didn't have the heat on. I mean, it was cold as shit up there. And one of the dancers was bitching at the guy that owned the place. He's like, "What?" He's like, "You can dance better if it's warm." He's just oh. It was probably 45 degrees in that place. It was awful.
Holy cow!
Oh.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool bar, but there was a lot of pretty good little tiny little one-off story things that came out of there just from the people that were in there. But yeah, I mean, with a name like Tuna, you get what you. It wasn't false advertising.
Right. And with that,
should we move to show and tell?
Yep, that was Uncle Luke's, whatever you call it, story corner. Oh, jeez.
Everybody loves you, Luke.
That was great, Luke.
Not now.
Do you have a show and tell today too, Luke?
I forgot all about doing that because I was trying to think of stories.
No worries. We're running kind of long on time with this episode anyhow, so that's totally fine. We can we're kind of learning how to time all this with the different segments now that we've got different things that we do, but that's totally fine. But yeah, just continue to jump in and comment on this stuff for sure.
Challenge, question.
Can you go ahead?
Yeah.
All right.
Or do you want me to do it?
No, I can do it. It's fine. I got some news stories. This one was from KUTV2 News, July 28th, 2021. Washington man shoots fridge in self-defense after soda can explodes, police say.
I hate it when that happens.
Police say a Yakima, Washington man is under arrest after he shot at his refrigerator, believing someone was shooting at him after a soda can exploded. Officers responded to the scene on Saturday after receiving reports that the man had opened fire at the refrigerator. When police arrived, they say they found the man outside the home in an alleyway, yelling incoherently with a gun lying in the middle of the road.
Richard.
After he was taken into custody, police say witnesses told them what happened. The man had been placing soda cans into the fridge when one exploded, police say. He immediately pulled the pistol out of his waistband and fired a round into the bottom of the fridge. The man later told police in an interview that the people who live in the basement wanted to kill him and that they had shot at him, so he fired in self-defense. However, upon investigation, the police discovered that not only did no one live in the basement below the man, but that building didn't even have a basement.
Wow. Hey, are we taking bets on if meth was involved?
Yeah.
The man was arrested and booked for second-degree unlawful possession of a firearm and discharge of a firearm.
No meth, huh?
Yeah, it didn't say.
It's actually funny that you bring that up. I'm going to cut in for just a second. So last night, either last night or the night before, Megan wakes up all of a sudden in the middle of the night. She's like, "There's somebody at our door," and sure enough, there's voices. And so I actually kind of proud of myself. I went and grabbed my gun first thing and pulled it out of the holster. Turns out they were just walking by.
But you shot them anyway.
I did shoot them anyway.
I mean, you got to rep your neighborhood.
I held the gun,
hunting human being
sideways,
thing.
Yeah. Just to send a message. But it was kind of funny. She's like, "There's someone at the door." And it was just somebody walking by.
You pulled out your man card, then you pulled out the gun.
Yeah, that's right. So the gun.
Do I have enough punches to use this gun?
Guns come with a man card, right?
They are the man card.
Exactly.
So anyway.
Nice. Here's one from Reuters from January 23rd, 2009.
It's Reuters.
Is that how you say it?
Yep.
All right.
You uncultured swine.
Nigerian police detain goat over armed robbery. Police in Nigeria are holding a goat on suspicion of armed attempted robbery. Vigilantes took the black and white beast to the police, saying it was an armed robber who had used black magic to transform itself into a goat to escape arrest after trying to steal a Mazda 323.
Yep.
Police say we cannot confirm the story, but the goat is in our custody. We cannot base our information on something mystical. It is something that has to be proved scientifically that a human being turned into a goat. It says belief in witchcraft is widespread in parts of Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation. Residents came to the police station to see the goat, photographed in one national newspaper on its knees next to a pile of straw. Sounds deadly. This one's all about the headline. Medical marijuana delivery man attacked by ninjas. This is March 30th, 2012. The San Gabriel Valley Tribune is reporting that two people in ninja costumes robbed a medical marijuana delivery person Friday evening in West Covina, California. The delivery person was reportedly returning to his vehicle from a delivery when two ninja suit-clad people attacked him. The delivery person dropped his bag, which contained both marijuana and cash.
Oh, no.
It is unknown how much of either was taken. No other ninja-style thefts have been reported in this area.
That's too bad. I'd like that to become a thing.
Yeah.
You never know nowadays.
This one's from all the way in 1985.
I was 4.
Let's see. Man eats underwear to beat breathalyzer.
Gross.
Stettler, Colorado. An 18-year-old Stettler man tried to eat his underwear in the hope that the cotton fabric would absorb alcohol before he took a breathalyzer test.
Oh, my God.
Provincial court heard this week. David Zerflo was subsequent. Oh, what was that?
So didn't he have a t-shirt?
You know, puking?
No, didn't he have a t-shirt?
Oh, rather than his underwear. You'd think so. It says Mr. Zerloff said he ripped the crotch out of his shorts, stuffed the fabric in his mouth, and then spit it out. A class of law students from William E. Hay Composite High in court as observers had to be removed by the teacher when testimony enlivened the proceedings. The 11th and 12th grade students had difficulty maintaining composure. People were leaving the courtroom with tears in their eyes, trying not to laugh, said RCMP Constable Peter McFarland. Yeah. Oh, here's one from up in your neck of the woods, Luke.
Oh, yeah.
44-year-old Minnesota man threatens TSA agent's life, throws checkpoint stanchion at the airport, headbutts TVs, strips naked, and masturbates, charges state.
But you were acquitted, right, Luke?
Well, it's pending.
Oh.
Is that the Minneapolis airport? Telling agents he didn't have to stop when they asked him to because, quote, it's a free country. A 44-year-old Minneapolis man is charged with threatening TSA workers at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. The charges state that he also swung a stanchion line post before throwing it at agents, taking his clothes off, and then masturbating. Alrighty. Yeah.
It seems to happen a lot here. I think that was a similar. Didn't I share a similar story the last time with that gal that was like between cars in one stop?
Yeah.
The Florida man, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah. They usually are. This one's from Motherboard, November 10th, 2021. That's still a week old. Denmark town spent $150,000 to clean beach seaweed, garbage, and other plastic, then dumps it back into the sea.
Shit.
Experts have described the practice as completely idiotic and harmful for the local ecosystem. It just says how they used a bulldozer to clear a beach so the beach looks better, but then they just bulldozed it back out into the ocean.
Oh, my hell.
Yeah.
We need to get some Darwin Awards on those people.
Right.
Michigan pilot crashed his plane 7 times in four states in 7 days.
He now works for Southwest.
Yeah. A small amphibious airplane is at the bottom of Lake Michigan after crashing during the 4th of July weekend. But fasten your seatbelts because the pilot says how it got there is one barnstormer of the story. Dennis Collier, a licensed Traverse City pilot, paid $110,000 for the 2010 Seawind on a Saturday, ended up crashing it in the drink a week later, and on the way, by his own account, crashed 7 times in 7 days in 4 states.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a hell of a story, Collier said, of his plan to fly solo from the West Coast to Boyne City, wherever that is. From California to the UP, everyone kept telling me I was lucky to be alive. 7 times, man.
7. Give up. Just be done. That's enough. You know, he needs to give up his pilot's license. It's over.
Yeah. This last one's from The Inquisitor. It's another one where the headline pretty much says it all. It's October 1st, 2013. Marijuana-filled boat crashes into nude beach.
Sweet.
Nude beach visitors were treated to quite the surprise on Tuesday when a boat carrying 80 pounds worth of marijuana capsized in Santa Cruz, California. According to officials, the watercraft left Mexico with thousands of pounds of weed. The boat's captain and crew were able to unload most of the marijuana before the boat was abandoned. According to a Santa Monica Cruz sheriff's deputy, this is lower grade marijuana than we usually see in Santa Cruz.
He says while smoking it.
It says even with its lower grade, the weed could have fetched $96,000 in the open market.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, and it says only in a place like Santa Cruz could a police officer talk more about the bad quality of the pot seized rather than the street value or the impact of the bus.
Right. I wouldn't even give this shit to my dog.
So, yeah, that's what I got.
Sweet.
Who wants to go next?
Good stories.
Yeah.
Why is everybody looking? John's hosting tonight. Don't look at me.
How about you go, Zach?
There we go. See, now it's official. Like
he knew what was happening.
Yeah,
he's choosing you over me, and that's fine.
Oh, just like my dad.
This is Cracked, of course, by Cracked Writers and Jesse.
Jesse.
All right, Jesse. 14 disgusting facts to completely derail history class.
Nice.
All right. Penis bleeding was a rite of passage in ancient Egypt. There was a parasite in Egyptian marshes that would cause horrifying urethra bleeding amongst commoners who couldn't afford a dick pouch. It was common enough that some villages considered it an indication of passage into manhood, basically penile menstruation. So you guys aren't men until you've bled out of your wiener.
Then I never want to be a man.
I've only bled out of my wiener one time.
Well, if you wouldn't leave it out like that, I wouldn't have slammed it in the fridge.
It was just a really rough
Zach
go.
comes strutting around the corner. Bam! I'm closing the fridge after getting something out of it.
That's my own
Lots
fault.
of crying and the trip to the emergency room.
That is why we don't live together anymore, isn't it?
You just came into my house naked.
Yeah. At 3 a.m. All right. The Black Plague made everyone afraid of bathing. Bathhouses fell out of fashion after the plague started making everyone rot. But instead of deciding that a fetid public fuck tank was I don't know why I'm having a hard time reading. Was inherently okay. Let me start that again because I'll just edit it. But instead of deciding that a fetid public fuck tank was inherently unhealthy, they figured it must be the act of bathing that made you sick. Regular bathing for commoners didn't come back into style until the early 1900s. Imagine the dating scene back then, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why they call it the Dark Ages.
People were rotting and not bathing.
This Kenny guy might have actually looked good back then.
Right?
Well, back then, fat guys were desirable because they had food to eat during the winters. So I would have been a ladies' man.
But you would have been rotting and not bathing, too.
Maybe.
Would have been?
That's why I don't sit next to you.
Yeah. Damn it.
Just extra cheese.
Lincoln's. What's that?
Said just extra cheese. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. Oh boy. Oh boy. Lincoln's assassination was arguably even worse for his friend. Major Henry Rathbone and his fiancée shared Lincoln's private box on that fateful day. Rathbone blamed himself for not saving the president's life, and his physical and mental health deteriorated dramatically.
John has COVID.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
He's also
don't.
rotting. 18 years later, he murdered his wife and attempted to take his own life, winding up in an institution for the rest of his days. That was a sad
Well, he took
story.
that hard, didn't he?
Yeah, I'd have been like, good. Farewell, good riddance to a stupid beard. Like, Abe Lincoln had the dumbest beard in history. And then people that wear it these days, I hope you're not listening to this podcast because I don't like you. Toothpaste used to be made of lizard livers. The field of dentistry is still astonishingly unregulated, but back in the day, you could get bamboo pegs or copper shards pounded into your jaw depending on where you lived.
What?
Early toothpastes were made up of ground tiny animals. Oh, and urine. Dentists didn't even wear gloves until the AIDS scare of the 1980s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I actually knew that. That's weird, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to bite my dentist all the time, but you know.
Medieval divorce court was basically a live sex show. Getting a divorce used to require proof of erectile dysfunction, since the whole point of marriage was to squirt out more Christians, after all. Couples would sometimes have to awkwardly bone in front of a jury, and prostitutes were even deputized to try and coax a boner out of the defendant.
Wow.
Wow.
We should bring that back.
I think so.
I'm in.
Pretty much tunas.
Like a reality show.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty much tunas.
Oh, that's better. I heard you really well there.
Oh, man.
Thomas Edison invented the Bride of Chucky. When he wasn't out murdering elephants, Edison devoted his time to creating the creepiest dolls on Earth. He stuffed tiny phonographs into these beaver-toothed cherubs so they would wheeze out "Hickory Dickory" and "There was a little girl," like the trailer for a horror movie. They're just really ugly dolls.
Weird dude. Him and his spirit phone.
Right? Powdered wigs were parasite motels. All the weird stuff folks used to do to their heads was more than just vanity. They were covering up lots of illnesses and ailments. They would periodically boil their wigs to kill the lice, cover their faces with toxic white lead, thicken up their eyebrows with mouse hide, and disguise the resulting sores with fake moles. So that's what a beauty mark is for.
Yeah.
Damn it, stop. Commuting in New York City used to mean evading horse corpses. In the 1880s, New York City had about 40 dead horses per day on their hands. There's no such thing as a horse mechanic, and lugging a lifeless horse is a lot more complicated than towing a car. They often needed to wait until the corpse decomposed enough to be removed in disgusting batches.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
History's gross. Please kiss my dead wife. In the 14th century, King Alfonso IV of Portugal had his son's mistress put to death. When his son, Don Pedro, took the throne 2 years later, he had his lover exhumed and crowned queen. He reportedly forced other nobles to kiss her hand at the ceremony. That's awesome.
Wow.
That is the level of crazy I want to be if I were ever able to take over the world.
Yeah.
I want to be that
You
level.
want a dead like queen?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
That's how much power I want to have. That people would actually listen to me do that shit.
Oh man, that's awful.
Nearly every culture has Nearly every culture has had fart artists. Japan had Hipuriotoko. The Irish had bregators, something like that, brigatoires. At one point, France's highest paid entertainer, the Fartomaniac, who could play the flute, do impressions, and blow smoke rings with his ass.
Oh my gosh.
His practice regimen included 5 enemas per day.
Oh.
Almost done, but I hate humanity already. I don't even need to finish to hate it more.
Now we know why Ultron wanted to destroy us after getting on the internet. He went to Cracked.
Yep. He's like, this isn't worth it. Parasols and hats were used as poo shields. Back in the day when people would huck their muck out the window, etiquette books instructed folks on how to give proper warning, yell, "Guardy Lou!" I don't know why I was Southern. And listen for a "hold your hand" from below. And how to navigate the sidewalk. Men would wear large brimmed hats and walk on the poop side of the sidewalk to protect women. Screw that shit.
Wow.
She can walk in the poop lane. I don't care.
And we wonder why they were like cesspools of disease in cities,
plagues.
Yep. Pre-1930s toilet paper was a nightmare. The human race didn't get around to manufacturing a pleasant wiping mechanism until the early 20th century. Before the good stuff, people would wipe with a brittle, splintery, paper-like product. Before that, we're talking rocks, sticks, and shared sponges. I've heard about the shared sponges before. Oh. Like, we're all really close, right? Like, would you guys share a sponge with me?
No.
Well, maybe.
If I could use it first, you could use it. It's technically sharing it, right?
Yeah. John Wilkes Booth's assassin castrated himself. Boston Corbett was once so scandalized after an encounter with a prostitute, he snipped off his own junk with a pair of scissors. He then had dinner and went to a prayer meeting before deciding that maybe a real doctor should have a look at his handiwork.
Wow.
Last one. London evacuated Parliament over the Great Stink. The 1858 record heat waves along the River Thames, which was more of an open air sewer than a proper river, caused a stench so powerful even rich people were inconvenienced. This caused them to finally implement modern plumbing. So yeah, there's your gross history.
Nice.
Life is not as nice as people think it is sometimes.
Right.
So. All right. Well, I will wrap us up tonight. I've got a few. Well, it's Thanksgiving next week. So
yeah, wow, it is.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for all y'all. But I've got some funny Thanksgiving stories because you know how it is when you get together with the fam and it's nice for about 20 minutes. And then somebody gets to shoot their mouth off and say something mean. And then it becomes just an exercise in just hatred and anger.
That's why I've started 3 other families.
Well, I don't blame you. So I've got, this is from Ranker. It's a few stories about people's worst Thanksgiving fights. It's from Josh Goo, and it was from a couple of years ago. But let me give you a sampling.
And you saying Happy Thanksgiving right now means that they will get it a week after.
That's right. That's fine.
Just so you know.
Podcasts run on a different timeline. So family goes at it over pudding. Pudding wars. As a child, my grandmother would make us banana pudding for Thanksgiving, homemade custard, and meringue. The works. Every year, my mom and her brother would outdo themselves trying to keep the other from getting the pudding. My uncle broke into our house one year to steal it. My grandma took to making decoy pudding and hiding the real stuff, but one year takes the cake. My grandma refused to make the beloved pudding. My great aunt steps in and offers to make it. Great aunt shows up. My mom takes the entire tray of pudding from her hands and runs into my grandmother's bedroom, screaming at my younger cousin to get her a spoon. She locked herself into my grandmother's bedroom with every intention of eating herself sick on the banana pudding. Unfortunately, my great aunt can't cook. The result of this was that instead of smooth, creamy custard, the pudding had bits of scrambled egg yolk in it. This happens if you try to heat the custard too fast and don't continuously stir it as you're cooking. Only moments after locking herself in the room, my mom returned disappointed and ate her turkey in sullen silence.
But now I'm hungry for some pudding.
So here's one where it says, sister threw green bean casserole on a painting. My older sister called another sister a fat bitch over some stupid fight they've been having for years, who then in turn picked up the bowl of green bean casserole and threw it at her. She missed. It wasn't that far, but I guess she was really angry and that messed up her aim. And it ended up hitting my mother's favorite painting. It was not salvageable. We all stopped having Thanksgiving with the entire family after that.
Yeah. Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Aunt's fist fight in the yard.
Sweet.
Nice.
I was 8 and hanging out with an older family friend. She was about 13. For some reason, my very drunk and high aunt thought that this family friend was turning me against my cousin, her daughter, and burst into the house screaming at her about this. Then said aunt got into a fist fight with another aunt in the front yard. Yeah, we stopped seeing that side of the family for a while. Let's see. Father arrested for tater toss. Growing up, my dad was a raging alcoholic. My mom was crazy. So dad is drunk after watching football all day, and as he ashed his cigarettes on his dinner plate, the phone rings. It's his sister. My mom answers and starts going off about how he's a drunk POS. Dad unleashes his inner Uncle Rico and throws a pile of taters 40-ish feet while seated and hits my mom in the face, sticking in her hair, shockingly leading to a bigger argument. Later leads to my mom calling the cops and my dad getting arrested for domestic abuse for the tater toss. But this was the early 90s in a small town, so they just drove him around and dropped him back off about an hour later. They are divorced now. My dad is 21 years sober.
Wow.
Nice.
Now, there's something to be said about being married to a crazy person and the other person being a drinker.
that sounds oddly specific.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
Family outs each other as users. I was only a toddler at the time, but Thanksgiving is known as the anniversary of the day my mother, father, and uncle outed one another as smack users. Life fell apart fairly rapidly the following year and has been fun ever since. Thanksgiving is now just a small family affair of myself, my brother, and my guardian grandparents. It's two more here. Let's see. Mother wants everyone to drink their own urine. My mom dominated the conversation about how everyone should be drinking their pee for a solid 45 minutes.
Wow.
She read in some yoga book about how it cures some infection called Bali belly that you get in places like, you guessed it, Bali, but also it's actually just really helpful for all sorts of crap. Went way into detail about how you have to catch it midstream of the first pee of the morning, etc. By the end, she was defending it so thoroughly, she said she was going to start tomorrow morning. She never did, and now denies the conversation lasted more than 5 minutes, and that everyone is egging her on. Right.
I'll bet her husband drinks alcohol a lot.
Grandfather's secret accidentally revealed. I was about 5 to 6 years old. Us kids were playing hide and seek, and I hid way in the back of Grandma's closet. While I was hiding back there, I found this beautiful deep red robe. I assumed it belonged to my grandfather, who passed just after I was born. I tried it on, and it was huge and on me, but the silk felt really smooth and cool, so I decided to go ask my grandma if I could have it to grow into. Turns out Granddad was a Grand Dragon in the Carolina KKK, and it was his ceremonial robe. The family members who didn't know about this already were highly upset. The ones who knew were embarrassed as hell. There was a small riot when I walked into the kitchen wearing it. That was an awkward Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave it there. So next time you start arguing about politics, just remember it can be much, much worse.
Yeah.
So,
Holy crap. Well, thanks for joining us on this very special episode.
with our very special guest, Luke.
Yeah.
So, Luke, any last words?
No, I don't know if I can top that.
Well, thanks
Thanks
for
having me on, though.
oh,
Yeah, anytime.
No, thanks for being on, and we'll have you back for sure. We love Luke's story corner. So,
Yeah, I've got a couple other good ones on there.
do you have an outro?
No, I don't have an outro.
Okay.
So you can just do the Yep. Thanks everybody.
Have a great Thanksgiving.